subgroup leader of our Wake Forest subgroup. And he has this interesting topic proposed. If you guys like it and it's good, we're going to try to line him up for an early meeting speaker if he's willing. But yeah, so he's getting his slides up right now, and take it away, Eric.
Well, thank you, Kathy. Welcome. I'm just really excited about this topic. I proposed this to Kathy while I was on drill duty actually last month. And she said, well, maybe we can do it sometime in the summer. And I was like, well, I don't know. This is like evolving very fast. And I feel like the people who can be early adapters are the ones who will have the competitive advantage at this point. So thankfully, she was able to get me into this spot here. But actually, it was poor planning on my part. My daughter's celebrating her 4th birthday tonight. So we have a Zoom little session set up. And so that's at 7 o'clock. That's why the hard stop. So I appreciate you guys giving me that space and grace to get that done, to be there with her. So thank you. Tonight, we're talking about AI. I get different, I get, well, let me actually move to this slide first. I'm a subgroup host, and I'm always told to go to the disclaimer. It's nice. It's nicer even the second time around. All right. So let me just tell you what we're going to learn tonight. So first of all, we're going to talk about what is ChatGPT. If you didn't know, ChatGPT is the actual tool we're going to talk about, the primary tool, but AI is something that is well beyond just ChatGPT. That's just the one that has the most name recognition to date, and has just exploded in popularity as a tool that a lot of people across various career fields in vocations work with. What's all the hype, and why should you care? Like, what does it have to do with real estate investing? How can it increase your bottom lines? We're going to get into all that. Look, I'm kind of curious though, as far as the people we have online, how many people have heard of ChatGPT? If you could kind of just mention that in the chat box. I'm curious, how many people have heard of ChatGPT? See if I can open the chat here.
I can tell you, Eric, so you don't have to go for your presentation. We got so far everybody. Yes.
Everybody. Okay.
Yes,
okay.
Yes. No nos.
No nos. Okay. Wonderful. So if you've heard of it, that's great. So I was a little concerned tonight because I don't want to give you the impression that I'm a subject matter expert. Like, I have no, I obviously didn't develop it, didn't have any parts in it. I'm just a guy who's super excited about the capability. And I quickly realized that it has just far-reaching capabilities in its present state, and it's just continuing to evolve. And so what I wanted to do tonight, in large part, is really to kind of explain what it is very briefly, and to get into some actual application of the actual tool by doing some demos, right? And so today is really meant to be more of is meant to inspire, if for no other reason, just to get you to get in there and just tinker with it, right? Because the more you tinker with it, the more your mind will open up to the possibilities, and the more you can leverage it to be more productive and to get things done in a lot less time. ChatGPT is a language processing tool. It's an artificial intelligence tool. It has vast amounts of information within it. And it's run, AI by its very nature is run by advanced algorithms, right? And the idea behind AI is to learn from its continued use, right? So as you continue to use it, it learns more and more and just continues to evolve. And so AI has been around for quite a long time. I didn't realize it's been around since like the 50s. But as you can imagine, it's pretty remedial, pretty primitive back then. But with with technology advances, we're starting to see more and more advancement in the AI itself. And so again, this is its moment right now. And so for most people, their introduction to AI is ChatGPT. And so ChatGPT has actually been around for a number of years, but the version 3.5 or 3, I want to say, that came out earlier this year is the one that broke records in terms of how many people were using it, and its ability to just, you enter in a prompt, they're called prompts. So you enter a question like you're talking to a human being, and the response as if it were a human being. And so it's pretty awesome. So let's kind of jump into First of all, who, I can get this going here. Who's Eric? All right, like I said, I'm no one special. I don't have any, I'm not in the IT world 24/7 or anything like that. I'm just excited about the technology. So I did go to school for engineering, electrical engineering, but I quickly found out that I wasn't an engineer. I went into the Air Force because I owed the Air Force some time, and I've actually been in the Air Force for quite some time as a reservist, as an engineer. But what really got me was my last year of school, I read this book. I don't know if you've heard of it, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And so this really rocked my world back in the mid to late 2000s, early 2000. And it just changed the whole trajectory of where I was headed. And so I got into real estate back in 2007. And if you know your history, you know that was just the perfect time to get in. And so I got hit pretty bad by the crash, and I figured things out, licked my wounds and figured things out. And what really got me staying on the path was I came across a book called Become Your Own Banker. And so I became a certified financial planner. And this book, the second book that changed my life. And family banking is essentially having your own bank that you can essentially tap into for investments and what have you. So if you want to know more about that, you can certainly email me. I'd be happy to chat with you about that and give you a free book if you want. All right. So, and I'm also a husband and a girl dad. So I'm a proud girl dad of a 4-year-old and soon to be 2-year-old as well. So why does this matter? Again, I'm not an IT guy. I'm a little afraid of the question and answer part because I don't know if someone's going to overwhelm me. I suspect there are people on this call right now who will know a lot more than me. I'm just the guy, again, who's excited about this. And I want to share it because I found that in my interactions with my own clients who are either, investors themselves or entrepreneurs, they either heard of it and kind of, blew it off, or they hadn't heard of this at all. And I'm just like, this is a game changer. I mean, truly it is. And so I've been able to use it across all the areas that you see here, real estate. When I was on drill last month, I used it for what my military drill duty, in my business. So it truly is a game changer. And so tonight I want to kind of share more about that, what that looks like. Oh, so what do you need to know? First of all, ChatGPT is free. As a matter of fact, I don't fault you if you want to go out and check it out right now while you're on this call. ChatGPT, it's a free service right now. I will add, right now it's free. I think that it's probably one of those brilliant schemes where they suck people in, get you addicted to it, because this is one of those technologies that you can really become dependent upon, right? And so once that happens, game over, right? So, but right now it's free. I actually pay for the $20 a month for the upgraded version and for access to different plugins that are coming out. So, but think of it, if you think about the world before Google and before smartphones, that's what I liken this to. This tool, again, it's a tool that has shown the world what's possible, and it's just continually evolving extremely fast. And so, the way that I'm using it now, it reminds me of how I use Google and how I use smartphones when they first came out, and still to this day, and how dependent I've become with those tools. And so I'm going to show you what I mean here in a moment, but we're at the beginning of something huge, okay? And I know I've probably said it before to my wife or something about virtual reality or, whatever, and those things haven't really taken off yet, but I think this is definitely because of the access to this. All right, it can be wrong. I want to say that right out the gate. It can be wrong. It is not 100% accurate, right? And that might frustrate you enough to where you don't even use it, but I encourage you to not, turn your back on it. It's continuously getting better. And most of it's actually on point and factual. And part of that reason is because the information is not updating like as if it was connected to the internet. So all the information is up to 2021, okay? Now there are plugins, there are extensions that allow you to leverage the AI with the internet. Actually, Microsoft Bing is a search engine that really took the reins on this and integrated it into its search engine. And so I encourage you to check that out too. But there are so right now with the current current state of things. It's information that's not past 2021. I like to think of ChatGPT as your white collar assistant. I actually named mine. Mine is Sam. May sound weird, I know, but hey, I'm sure many of you talk to Siri. I'm sure many of you talk to Alexa, excuse me. So it's not that out of, not that weird of a situation, but I call mine Sam. And I think that if you've ever wanted to have an assistant at your beck and call for the cost of a broadband connection, this is your opportunity. This is your time, right? So it's not Skynet from the Terminator, right? I think Kathy joked about that. That is not what this is, right? Now, it's funny I say that, but Sam Altman, the CEO, he's being interviewed all the time these days, and he walks around with a book bag. From what I gather, from what I've been told, rumor says that in the book bag is like the codes, the codes to the actual mainframe or whatever, to have it unplugged should it go haywire, right? So I don't know. I mean, their entire countries, Italy was the latest country to completely shut it down to its citizens. That's saying a lot, okay? I do also know that it has been somewhat diluted. As you can imagine, when it first came out, you've got bad actors wanting to, play games with it. And how do you make a bomb? How do you make, meth? Those sort of things. And those sort of things have been really cracked down upon. And so it's kind of somewhat limited, depending on what you're looking for, right? From that standpoint. But yeah. All right. So let's get into a demo here. How are we on time? 6:22. Okay, we're good. So demo time. So I'm going to bring up ChatGPT. And let's see if we can do that here.
Sometimes, Eric, you have to stop your share and restart or it won't show it. I don't know. We can let you know if it comes up.
All right.
Oh yeah, it's there.
Okay, cool. All right. So first things first, I want to ask ChatGPT. I want to talk about property descriptions. So this is the first application that you could potentially use it for. I mean, maybe you aren't the best writer. Maybe you, there's a lot to be desired for if you're a realtor per se, and you want to advertise a property, or if you're an investor, right? It doesn't matter. I mean, your ability to communicate the value of that property is going to be paramount if you're not there to do it for it. So how you write is going to be important. So just an example here. Let me, I got some prompts here. Again, these are called prompts. What you will find, and I had this quote here, the magic of ChatGPT's output is in its input. Again, the magic of ChatGPT's output is in its input. What that means is your ability to get really specific in how you communicate with the application will determine your output, right? If you give it a general question, it's going to give you a general answer, right? And so now that's where the practice in learning how to ask ChatGPT different prompts or different questions really comes into play. You got to hone that ability, and it doesn't take very long, right? So let's do a property description here. So my wife and I, we just bought a house in Rollsville. And so I'm going to say, I usually say Sam, but for today's purpose, I'm just going to copy and paste. And I try to be courteous, right? I feel like if the AI is going to turn on us, maybe it'll spare the people who are courteous, right?
You'll be in favor.
Right. Right.
Love
So
it.
that's just me.
Always thinking ahead. Way to
That's
go.
right. All right. So I said, please create a property description for a home on 124 Waterstone Lane, Rollsville, North Carolina. Okay. And so it does it. So this is GPT-4. It's the latest update. I pay for this. What I'll likely do is go back to 3. What you'll find is 4 is a little bit slower, but it has higher reasoning capability, a little more accurate. But like I said, GPT-3 would have been more quicker in terms of its output.
So wait, let me make sure I got that. 3 is quicker, but 4 has better detail and accuracy.
Yeah, I'll show you here in just a moment. So it's just kind of spitting out a bunch of detail. And I obviously, since we're very familiar with this house, I can see some inaccuracies. And so that's where you know, you can't just be totally reliant on the tool itself. You've got to know something, a little something about what you're talking about. And so because this is not connected to the internet, there's some inaccuracies here that are likely just out of date. And so what I'm going to do here now is show you guys. All right, it gave me a long description here, but you know what? I want it to be funny and limit it to 150 words. Okay. Matter of fact, make it funny like Chris Rock and limit it to 150 words. So let's see what it says. And so as you can see here, it's taken Chris Rock's tone, that's the key word here, tone, and it's applying it to this description, right? Now, this is the cool thing, right? You can take emails, you can take social media posts that have your impression, your personality, how you like to talk, and upload it into ChatGPT. You can ask it for the tone, analyze this work, this paragraph for the tone, and it'll tell you, it'll give you descriptors, right? And now you can take those descriptors and apply them to any message you have going forward. ChatGPT remembers the conversation you're having here in this particular session, okay? So this is one session. You can open up different sessions that completely essentially clear the memory, all right? So hopefully you guys have read this. Again, I encourage you to go in and just tinker with it, toy with it. It's pretty awesome what it can do. All right, so let's move on here. So let's take a look at, talked about private descriptions. Here are some other things they can do. A lot of its strength come in the form of its content, right? Welcome letters. If you're a short-term rental host, Airbnb host, welcome letters to people who come and visit you. Notice to vacate, right? If you're a landlord, notice of rent increase or late rent. Checkout instructions, right? Guides for popular spots in local area. Again, if you're Airbnb host, draft lease agreement. Now, I'm going to put a disclaimer on that lease agreement. Anything that's legal, right? You're always going to get the advice of have an attorney in your area look it over, right? Again, this will get you started. This will get you going though, to give you a great draft. Make sure you specify a lease agreement for such and such North Carolina, right? And that sort of thing. But I have this asterisk for late rent. I have a prompt here for as an example. Okay. By the way, if you could save your questions till the end, that'd be great. So, okay. All right, so here is a description of my problem, right? I got a tenant who's asking for an extension on the rent payment. The problem is she's been late previously, and that's the last straw. Can you provide me with a firm yet politely worded letter that lets her know that eviction is the next step if she doesn't pay? Also, the late fees will be incurred, okay?
Dang, this is amazing.
This letter finds you well. So I will tell you that I had a letter written. I'm in the financial services business, and so I was trying to work with a client. We wrote a letter to the company. Anyway, I had a general idea of what I wanted to say, and I put it in the ChatGPT, and it's like it was just brilliant. It was just a brilliantly worded letter, something that in a million years I probably wouldn't have come up with. And we went with it, and lo and behold, we got things cleared up, right? So, but how much time does that save, right? Again,
or lawyer fees. I mean, that's a letter I would have written as an attorney if a client came to me and said that. That's pretty much what I would have written.
Yeah. So
Eric, I used it this week. Literally, I put in 2 sentences. I need a stern letter to a contractor that's behind on a project.
Okay.
And it was brilliant what it, I mean, was brilliant.
Yeah, it's
Lovely.
yeah. I'm wowed each time, and it just continues to get better. All right, so that's the late rent piece, just an example. Again, the idea is to get the juices flowing. What else? This is just the tip of the iceberg, people. This is not the end all be all. This is just the tip of the iceberg. So what's the next thing on the list here? So we have negotiating, got an asterisk. That means it's demo time. So give me a second. So my wife, she doesn't flip houses, but she flips furniture, and she's getting really, really good at it. And so, hold on a second. One of the things she did was she put a Facebook Marketplace dialogue into ChatGPT. And now she's been a real estate agent before, right? But she wanted some more hints, some more ideas, right? From as to how she could respond. And so, but I'm going to take it a different way. I'm going to say, copy, paste. So I'm a real estate investor. I made an offer for property valued at $300K. The offer I made was for $225. The owner countered at $285. How should I respond? Please use top tier negotiating tactics and provide alternative replies. Okay. So again, not all of us are, are versed in negotiating skills, right? And so this just kind of gives you some ideas. So let's see what it says. Split the difference. Now it's actually writing a letter for me. I didn't want it to do that per se, but let me see something here. So to your question, Kathy, so if you look here, there's a default 3.5, and it gives you the ranking of reasoning, speed, and consciousness. Okay. There's a default, legacy, and then GPT-4, right? So speed is kind of the drawback, the trade-off here. Okay.
So what one were you using for that one that you just did?
Four. So I'm going to go back to default. So I'll put this back in again. So using anchoring technique, okay. Highlight an issue with the property. If there are defects, split the difference. Consider walking away. So again, just to get the juices flowing, right? This might cause you to think about something in a different way, come at it from take a different approach, okay? The cool thing about this is if you really liked this split the difference idea, can you elaborate? Remember, it remembers the conversation. Elaborate on number. Matter of fact, I'm going to put on ampersand 3. So it remembers, right? So it gives you an example. Think about, for those of you who are content creators, think about if you're a real estate agent, right? And you want to create content. I could take just this component right here and break it down. ChatGPT or Sam will create a YouTube script for me. I'm not going to do it now, but I could say create a 2-minute YouTube script. Create a post for both LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram, right? Oh, and by the way, you know how I talk, Sam, so put it in my tone, right? How much time has that saved you? Now, all of a sudden, you can truly just get down to the business of putting your, creating your marketing plan and in your calendar, and just schedule things to be posted, because all of this is going to take no time at all, right? So, all right, hopefully, again, I'm getting the juices flowing here. All right. Let's move on here. All right, so what is more ideas? Lease evaluation. Could you take your lease or a purchase agreement, right? Any sort of contract, upload that puppy into the system and have Sam evaluate it, ChatGPT evaluate it? Absolutely. Can you have them summarize it? Absolutely. Can you say, can you find any sort of loopholes that aren't in my favor, right? Or in my favor, or whatever, right? The point is you can now have it be your paralegal assistant, right? Performing that function. Again, I'm not saying get rid of your lawyer altogether. All I'm saying is this is a great starting point. If you're out there in the field, you're trying to just do some quick analysis, and this gives you an opportunity to do that. So ChatGPT is not an app yet. You can access it on your phone, but it's not an app yet. It's coming. But I think the way it's structured, ChatGPT, I don't know if it'd actually be an app now that I think about it. I think there are going to be a lot of applications that will sit on top of this powerful tool that you can interface with. Okay, so those are coming out every day because of what's called an API, which essentially allows it to talk, right? So if you're a realtor and you want to set up your own bot on your website to answer questions from clients, potential clients who drop by your website, now you set up this interface with this API connection, and it's the same thing. It's like they're talking to a human being, okay, your own chat bot, so to speak. Anyway, some people feel a certain way about that, and some people don't. But I think, again, as it continues to evolve, it'll get better and better. You won't know the difference, right? All right. Housing regulations. What if you are looking outside of your local area, right? What if you're looking for short-term rentals in Wilmington? I don't necessarily know Wilmington all that well, nor do I know all the pockets of Wilmington, right? What if the neighborhood I go into has regulations that limit my ability to do, to rent out my, turn it into an Airbnb? I'd like to know that before I go into that neighborhood and invest, right? So it allows you to do that as well. LLC naming, branding suggestions. I was just playing with this one. I'm in the process of creating an LLC, and so one of the things that it's just really sometimes it's more of a task than it should be. But I said, okay, let me play with this and see what it can do for me. So I said, all right. I'm trying to create a name for an LLC that somehow incorporates the names of my daughters, Kai and Isa, as well as my wife, Michelle. This LLC will be formed to manage our real estate investment portfolio. So it gives me some names, right? I could ask it for 5, 10 more. I could say, again, just ways to play with it. I'm just trying to demonstrate the capabilities here. Okay. All right. All right. Now this one I am not as versed on. A lot of these I'm not versed on, but this one in particular, and I really want to get versed on it. Excel spreadsheet manipulation and analysis. I do know, I said, see YouTube. There's a lot of videos now than there were when I first started this, down this path. But there are a lot of YouTube videos now that show you how to use ChatGPT. The way that I'm talking about in particular is looking at having a lot of data on a spreadsheet and trying to manipulate that data. So maybe want to do things that are more complex than maybe putting them in chronological order or alphabetical order, right? Which involve formulas, which involve virtual. Some programming, right? Cool thing about this, and again, I encourage you to go on YouTube. The cool thing is you can have a spreadsheet on one monitor and explain what you're trying to do in ChatGPT, and it'll give you the formula to copy and paste in. Okay, so it's just I don't know. I think we're not that far away from being able to upload spreadsheets and do all sorts of magic, right? And have it done. I call it automagically. So, all right. Purchase agreement review. I think I said that. All right. So we are coming down to the end here. Again, like I said, play with it. But if you are extremely curious by nature, like myself, and sometimes get a little bit too into things, it can be a rabbit hole that's hard to get out of. And so just be mindful of that. But definitely play with it. Get on YouTube, check out some of the videos there. Just know that this thing is it's moving fast, and so even today's presentation is essentially outdated already, right? The reason I say that is because this is the underlying technology. There are plugins, there are Google Chrome extensions you can use. There's a couple cool ones I like to use. One is YouTube Summary. I can go on YouTube with a click of a button. It's a Google Chrome extension. With a click of a button, it will summarize the transcription, all right, within ChatGPT. How much of a time saver is that? You're watching, I go through a lot of YouTube videos for instructional purposes to learn certain things. Just to be able to not have to go through the entire 20-minute video, give me the high points, the talking points, right? It'll do it for you. It's called YouTube Summary. There's another one that's a Gmail extension that essentially, like you were saying, Jackie, type in a couple sentences of what you wanted to say as a reply, click a button, it's written out there for you, right in the Gmail platform. I think it's called ChatGPT Writer. So there's a few of them like this out there again, but there's going to continuously be more and more coming out. Yeah. Plugins are coming fast. Right now I'm on the waiting list for a plugin with ChatGPT on the platform itself. They have plugins that allow you to book a trip based on your preferences, get it all done for you, right? I want to take a trip in Europe, and I want to have this type of experience. I want to spend only this much money, and I want to, whatever, right? And you start to refine it. It'll do it all for you with these plugins, with Expedia, a couple other plugins that are already have formed a relationship with ChatGPT. Again, I don't have access to it yet, but I'm on the waiting list for it. Pretty awesome stuff, though. Again, use it to inspire, not replace your efforts. I've studied copywriting for some time now, and I can now pretty much, I can see, I understand what copywriting is. It's just sales language, right? On written sales language. And so I can see when the language is what it's trying to do and how it's trying to influence. And so I have a base level understanding of how it works. And so when I have ChatGPT write something up, I know exactly what I'm asking for, what type of copy I'm looking for. And I don't just let it, I don't let it do its own thing. I refine it and I ask it for what I want, right? So let it inspire you. And the more knowledge you have of a certain topic, the better off you'll be in terms of guiding it to what you want, okay? I don't think anyone's job is in jeopardy yet. I think the more you can leverage this technology and be an early adopter, I think the better off you'll be. And I think, yes, with some time, probably sooner than most people think, there are going to be positions that are going to be eliminated. It takes time, though, for corporations to adapt this type of thing in technology. But you certainly, as an individual investor, you are poised to be able to, to take advantage of stuff quickly, leverage it quickly, and to really make, have it do your bidding, right? And get out there and be more productive, and mindful of your time. So, but I don't think it's taking on anyone's job over yet. I think it's going to be some time. And again, I think there are going to be more jobs created. It's more important. I think there's going to be a lot more jobs created from this technology. Some people think that this is going to be more of a dumbing down of our society. I'm not sure where I stand there yet, but I do know that, of course, Gen Zers have really taken and ran with this. You're hearing reports of professors having issues, high school teachers having issues. This thing has passed the bar. It has passed the medical exam. I mean, so it's done these things. And so the more, it's like a cat and mouse sort of thing, the more they develop programs to weed out and to sniff out the people who have ChatGPT AI written papers, the more people are able to create stuff that allow these things to fly under the radar, these creations. So it's just, it's, I don't know. I think it's like,
It could put
anything
us back to handwritten papers.
yeah.
Wouldn't that be
Oh,
ironic?
wait. Oh, that means we'd have to actually teach cursive in school. That would be.
Funny.
So, Eric, there's one question in the chat, which I don't know if you know about, but I've actually studied a little bit, which is, can works be created as intellectual property? And that's a really great point, because there are current legal issues with ChatGPT, which, by the way, it's all too new. There are zero answers for this. But the issues are, some of the things that you might get from ChatGPT are possibly already infringing on a third-party intellectual property right, because it's the system is learning by grabbing things that might already be copyrighted. And then another issue is the status of the generated content and how to protect it and who owns it. Do you own it? Do ChatGPT own it? So it's a great question, Steve, but it's just something I've been interested in and following as a recently retired attorney, is there are no answers to those questions yet. So probably no, you can't protect it, and possibly you might be using something that is already protected. So but it's a super interesting subgenre all its own. Eric, Troy Bailey saying he uses Genie AI chatbot powered by ChatGPT, and it is a phone app.
Okay. There you go.
So Eric, I think you mentioned that there's a paid, because I just pulled it up while you were talking, and so there's a paid model as well. And is yours paid? You pay for yours?
Yeah, I pay for mine to get access to the ChatGPT 4.
Is that what the $20 premium is?
Correct,
Is that
yes.
ChatGPT? Okay.
Yes, and you get access to
$20 a month.
correct. Yes, yeah, and you get access to the plugins once you're off the wait list.
Gotcha. Wow, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. Yeah, because I put some things in it while you were talking, and my interface looked very different than yours.
Yeah, I was gonna say a couple of things. AI, again, AI is the fundamental foundational technology behind this. This is a more of a, again, language writing prompt to content type of interaction, but there's also text to image, which is pretty awesome as well. I invite you guys to check out what's called Midjourney, which you are describing what you want to see in terms of a original creation, AI created picture or image, and extremely just fascinating what you can do. And you just continue to refine. You can make a logo like that. You can make a, whatever it is you want to create, right? For the creative types out there, you can do it. So.
Yeah. Eric, has anybody been used? I'm sure somebody is, but can you use it for modeling, like from an underwriting perspective? And what I mean is, as we're analyzing properties and determining potential comps, and, many times we try to look at it the way the banks would look at it.
Yeah.
And pull in the same type of properties. I didn't know if it had sort of migrated over to the underwriting community at all.
Yeah, so I will tell you that I looked at I saw a post on ChatGPT. AI was asked, what are the top 20 jobs to go? High probability the next 1-2 years. Underwriter was ranked as high. So I will tell you that more than likely exists. I wouldn't know how to do that with ChatGPT, but like I said, there are applications out there, I'm sure of it, that will take information that you're talking about and be able to spit out what it is you're looking for, bottom line. Now, this, I didn't put on market analysis here for a reason, because I tried it myself. It's just somewhat inaccurate. Again, the information they're pulling is 2021 up to 2021. Now, nothing's stopping you from maybe trying Microsoft Bing in conjunction with the ChatGPT to try to pull more accurate information, get comps and run numbers and what have you. I just haven't done that. So.
Cool.
And I
Yeah.
mean, we could spend an entire meeting just on other AI tools that evolved out of
Mhm.
Chat GPT,
Yeah.
like there's
what if.
simplified.com, Mubert, MUBERT.com, thundercontent.com,
Yeah,
let's enhance.io. I mean, there's just tons of them.
yeah.
Oh, Steve Jones has a good point. Read that one, Kathy. Cool.
What do you say?
I
I
can
can-
see it incorporated into wearable tech. Oh my God, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like glasses in the future that enhances human ability. E.g., imagine walking into a conference and immediately recognize, oh my God.
I could use that because my memory's,
We're all gonna be superhuman. Oh my God. My
Uh,
mind is blown now.
It's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
And it's moving fast.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, Eric, this is awesome.
Yeah, it was, Eric, it's such a
this
great
is fun.
introduction. You know, we're
Yeah.
gonna have more.
All right. Well, again, I tend to eat this stuff up, so I'm going to continue to stay on top of it and figure out what's coming, what's the next big thing along these lines. So for sure, I'd love to be able to give you an update down the road.
This would be a great early meeting, so think about it.
Okay, for sure.
Thank you so much. Happy birthday to your daughter.
Thank
if
you.
guys do you have
Yes.
other questions or comments you'd like to put in the chat before we let Eric go? And
I have one question.
sure, go ahead.
Hi, Eric. Nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
Did I hear that your second book that influenced you besides Rich Dad, Poor Dad, was it Be the Bank?
It is, yeah, becoming your own banker. Yep.
So is that talking about mortgage? I mean, is that private lending or mortgage notes or?
And no, it's actually a strategy called infinite banking.
Okay.
I encourage you to check that out. But it goes by many different names. Infinite banking is the one that's most known. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Anyone else before we let Eric go? All right. Infinite banking. Okay. Again, Eric, man, thank you so much. You guys,
Welcome.
if you liked this topic, I tell you what, it's sometimes, hard for us to know what people like and what they don't. It's Zoom is so weird, we can't see you or read your emotions. But what you could do is go to Google and put in North Carolina, put in NC-REA. And when it comes up, don't click on the website, but go over to the right and there's a little box with information and there's a place where you can click, leave a review and give a shout out to Eric, say, man, this NC-REA meeting was awesome. I learned about AI and Eric Patterson was great. And we do read those and it really helps us know what you like. The reason we have that grant thing on there a few times is because Debbie did a little bit about it in the wire meeting and everybody in the room was like, oh my God, I need to do this. Please do an entire meeting on it. That's where that Saturday came from. So if you guys do that, we monitor those and we listen and we will schedule more of things that you like. If you don't like it, okay, you don't have to go there. Just keep it to yourself. But go give Eric and NC-REA a 5-star review. We appreciate it. So thanks again, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Eric, for sharing your evening with us on your daughter's birthday. I hope you all have a great celebration.
All right. Thank you so much. Take care, guys. I'll see you around. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.